Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard 101 video. Now I know what you're saying. You're like, Noah, this KI Live is now 10 days old. Do you really need to go over this? And I think I do, because I've gone over just about every KI Live in the last year that's come out. I really like going over the KI Live because I really like hearing KingsIsle's thoughts on coming updates, kind of what they plan on doing, and it's just cool to actually kind of get an inside view on KingsIsle, right? Because as players, it's good to know what the devs are thinking and kind of stuff like that. So today I figured I'd go over this one, and I'm hoping that this will kind of formulate some people's opinions on what KingsIsle is thinking about what they did and kind of how they adjusted to it. Because I know a lot of people were very unhappy with the beginning of the spring update, and despite it changing, their feelings of unhappiness haven't really gone away, which I think is a little bit weird, since I think that it's very obvious that KingsIsle saw what we said and adjusted to it accordingly. And I think that's really important, and the fact that KingsIsle actually did that's pretty good. But enough rambling, let's actually get on with the KI Live. Now I just want to go over kind of the rundown. I got this from the Atmoplex, as always. Very helpful to actually go over and kind of accumulate my thoughts on it, because even just watching the KI Live, which I didn't used to watch them, but recently I have been watching them because they are pretty interesting. It's very good to have just a condensed list of what I went over, because I'll be completely honest, I am not very good at accumulating my thoughts into a kind of condensed list, which is really weird considering I make YouTube videos, but whatever, I digress. Let's get into it. So first off, thanks for all the feedback about Spellements. They hear you. They will be making some pretty significant changes that will make it into the first update next week, which has been done, which very obviously did fix it. So if you didn't know, basically acquisition was nigh impossible for Spellements when it first came out. Again, as I've said, I got 5 Spellements from doing all of Krakatopia. This has since been changed, and it's much easier now, which is very, very good. Merciless gear changes. Their intention was to spread out farming to other bosses, but the gear became more difficult to obtain. They will make changes with an update very soon and communicate where you can find it. Basically, if you didn't know, what KingsIsle did originally is they lowered the drop rate of Merciless gear from Stallion Quartermain quite a bit and spread it out to other bosses. People didn't really like this because some of those bosses were kind of hard to reach, no one was farming them, etc, etc. So in response, they upped the Merciless drop rate quite a bit again from Stallion. But the goal of this is, and something I actually agree with, is they want to spread out the drops from the gear. The reason why this is the fact that if all the gear comes from one fight that people have memorized and have gotten down to a T, it's really, really difficult to keep interest and engagement, right? The reason why Dragoon farming and gear farming became so stale towards the end of Dragoon gear is because we all farmed the exact same boss over and over and over again to get the reagents to craft the gear, and then once we had the set pieces of Dragoon gear we need, we didn't farm for gear again. The reason why this is kind of boring and is a little bit annoying is the fact that it's not diverse. It just gets very repetitive as time goes on to farm that same boss. They want to spread this out, and I do actually agree with this decision. I hope that for future gears they keep this in mind, but I will say I don't think that they should make it so that those ridiculously difficult side dungeons throughout all of Lemuria are what drops the gear, because there are actually some that are quite difficult to do and the average player would not be able to do and would not be able to farm for, right? Whereas Stallion Quartermain, the cheats are very easily able to be gotten around. Stuff like the Snow Queen and the Power Draconian in the new side areas are going to be much more difficult for the average player to farm. So I think that it should be a healthy mix of certain bosses dropping it and certain of the bosses being easy enough for the average player to farm. But I do think it's a good idea to remove some of the merciless drops from Stallion, spread them out. Cantrips. There are reasons it costs energy and not mana, which will become clear later. They can audit the cost, but they want it to feel weighty. So this is people's primary concern with cantrips, and I would say myself included. I think in this game, too many things cost energy, and it definitely gets a bit rough when you're looking to do multiple things, right? Because even just pet training, you're probably going to be using all of your energy on pet training if you don't have a good pet, and I know most people do, myself included, if not gardening, right? There's so many things that cost energy, and we don't want too many things to cost energy. But I will counter this by saying I do think cantrips should cost energy and not mana. The reason for this is that mana is very easily accessible and easily replenished. It'll make things like the fishing luck one entirely too easy to do, right? Even if they made it say 500 mana, you can just get that, use a potion. It's really easy, and it definitely makes certain cantrips way too easy to do. So my proposition would maybe be have some cantrips cost energy, some cost mana. If not, definitely lower the energy cost of most cantrips. There is a long-term plan for lore spell elements to become available in other ways, but they're currently from lore masters. So this is obviously things like Ship of Fools and stuff like that are all right now at lore master. They want to change that and diversify that, which I do definitely think is necessary, but currently they're from lore master. That's what they just need to do until they can find a firm place to put them. They're 100% reversing PvP back to free to play after seeing feedback. They're listening and evaluating. Please keep communicating and explaining the issues coherently. Basically, this is just a simple sentence, which I feel like most players don't understand. If you want your feedback to be made clear and you want your feedback to KingsIsle to be accepted positively, you need to be constructive. You need to actually have a coherent thought, right? A lot of comments, I see this too. If you just insult KingsIsle and just say, oh, they suck, the decisions they do are bad and will always be bad, they're not making these right decisions, that's not constructive. They're not going to change what they're doing if you just keep saying they suck. You need to say, I think PvP needs to be free to play, and this is why. But the gist of it is you need to be constructive, because being insulting gets you nowhere, and that's a mentality I think a lot of people on the internet don't have. A lot of people don't understand you should be polite. Just be nice, right? It's that simple. And I think that's why I dislike doing negative videos, and I almost never do negative videos. Especially recently, I've kind of steered away from the kind of criticizing the game. And while I don't think I was ever necessarily insulting in those videos, I definitely think it's better to constructively criticize things instead of just tearing it down. 5th Age is out. There's more stuff coming, such as team PvP. It's nice to have leagues so they can look at meta and see how it evolves, as well as tweak it between seasons. First season is out, and they will watch very carefully as they reset things to baseline, which they're optimistic about. They have real elo now and plan to make more gear for PvP. They're spending a lot of time on PvP to use its potential and allow more to engage with it. They've not even scratched the surface of cantrips. This is interesting to me. I do hope cantrips is gone more in depth with in the future, because I think it's an interesting system. Again, just as I said earlier, I don't think it should cost as much energy as it does. The loyalty store is live now. They're always looking to increase the benefits of membership and offer unique/limited items. I think that this is pretty cool. It's not like a bad change whatsoever. It's just a simple additive of continuing your membership. You're going to get loyalty tokens. Pretty cool. I think it works. They're working to innovate on how they advertise and expect more as they progress into the year. They plan to run free Wizard City and Crocotopia soon, which they are currently doing. So again, make sure to go do that. As always, I always say that when they do free Wizard City and free Crocotopia, now's your time to play, to show that we should have more things like this where it's free Wizard City and Crocotopia. They've advertised quite a bit, but they've not advertised these targeted promotions. They also have a video spot they plan to run to catch new players. They may have ways in the future for you to help grow the game and benefit from it. So again, this is all we really want. We want Wizard 101 to grow, because the more players that play it, the better it's going to become for all of us. So I do hope that they continue focusing on advertising in the future, and it seems like they have something in mind. So pretty good. Pretty cool. All right, for Pirate 101, they're actively working on a small update they plan to have out soon. Maybe not before the next KI Live, but certainly after. They're working on new Kurga companions in all capital letters for the update after the next one. Sinbad is also one of the companions who will recruit. So pretty cool. We haven't had a Pirate 101 update out in a very long time. It'll be really cool to actually see new content. They have a new community manager, Chris W, who goes by Hocules. Everyone shout out to Hocules. Welcome to the team. Big Pog. We're happy for this. He will give Wizard 101 a war, and the Pirate 101 community will close the gap to get more resources. This is exciting for me. I do want to see Pirate 101 thrive, and I'm excited that they're going at it with kind of a fervor, right? I want them to actually go at it and be like, we're going to make Pirate 101 a good game. I'm really excited for that, and I hope that they continue on. There's a roundtable with Senor Spicy, Ratbeard, Hocules, and a first-time user experience will be discussed as part of it. So that's pretty cool. Make sure to check that out when it actually comes out, which I don't know when, but I'm assuming it will be soon. Kyle's favorite world is Marleybone, mainly in Pirate 101. I completely agree with this. Pirate 101 Marleybone is amazing. He would like to do more live streams, maybe 2 or 3 every month alongside Hocules, which is cool. We like seeing regular live streams. Kevin Alexander is the new lead producer. He's technically returning as he was part of the team from 2012 to 2016. He's a life main. It's incredible how many people are still on the team from his first time on it. He's also excited about engaging more with Pirate 101. That's good to see. We love to see the team expanding. Decius's favorite cantrip spell is invisibility. Already loves them all. He and Gary brainstormed this list of spells and likes each for their own reasons. They're listening to concerns about energy costs and will adjust as needed. Again, that's all I think they need to do, and I hope that they actually do that. Ratbeard's favorite is Magic Touch, you use to unlock the cantrip chest. There could be cool stuff coming for cantrips soon, probably raids and such. I'm excited to see this in the future, and really I do think cantrips could be a very, very interesting and unique system that they can kind of incorporate into the game. For loyalty, as you have consecutive memberships, you build up tokens. The limit is 4 a month. You need to go in game and claim them, but 4 is as fast as you'll earn them. So that's interesting. And in my opinion, it's good that they kind of have a hard cap for it, because if we gain them too fast, it kind of removes the value of them. They made merciless gear changes because the chase is weird where there are great places for it, followed by long deserts of nothing is not fun. Sorry, that sentence was very hard to read with my brain. The merciless gear is fulfilling the DPS rule. They will roll out more changes over time to get to other gear. It's a long process as they have to reassess all gear across the game. They want to build a framework where they can create a wide variety of gear and dual school gear. So this is very interesting, and it's interesting to me that they are kind of looking at different roles, because that's kind of what the gear has been for a while, right? Whereas Dragoon gear is more towards a balanced and tanky role with all the resistances. Merciless, you can obviously very easily see it's going towards DPS / a hitter role, and this is very obvious from the pierce and the damage on it. It's cool that they're actually looking into this, and I do genuinely think that the changes are pretty good, so that's good to see. They thought cantrips would fit Wisteria very well, so the requirement is just getting to Wisteria. They're introducing a lot of new systems, but they don't want to overwhelm people by putting them too early. There were 42 planned for test realm and rolled out. The sigil support spells are planned for the future. I think this is good as well. Don't want to release too much at once. If they completely change the game, it's going to jar way too many people. There are big plans to use cantrips in future content. Again, raids and such. Cantrip spells themselves are universal, but the result can be impacted by the caster's school. So this is exciting. And as I've been saying, I do think it's going to be cool in the future. They've been inspired by way too many games. In terms of themes though, Leah loves the ones that allow customization, which is really cool. I would love to see Wizard101's customization options increased quite a bit. I think they're very limited as is, and I definitely would like to see more. Ratbeard drew a lot of inspiration from 3rd edition of D&D for pirate combat and progression. This is actually very obvious if you've even played D&D. If you just look at Pirate 101 and how it works, it's very obvious that it's inspired by that. And I will say, I do think it is a genuinely good inspiration. I think it reflects very well in the game. He also likes sandbox games such as Minecraft with deep crafting loops, which is pretty cool. Wizard101 doesn't have very many deep crafting loops. It would be cool to see some more, in my opinion. They've seen a lot of feedback about customization, but their first priority is on things for players to do. However, they will get around to customization. This is for Pirate 101. A new world is not happening anytime soon, as it's beyond the scope of the new team right now. They would plan it extensively before releasing it. It may take multiple years. Hopefully not, that'd be really bad. Updates are still coming though. I do think that this is actually a good idea. I think first Pirate 101 should get its feet on the ground, kind of get its toes wet a little bit before moving on to a new world. I think 2023 would be a better year to shoot for, like November of 2023. That would be really, really good because it gives them time to kind of establish what they want in Pirate 101, maybe fix up some systems, polish up the game a bit, and then go into it. I think that that would be a very good idea. If Ratbeard gets the changes to ship combat that he would prefer, it would take inspiration from Sid Meier's Pirates, which is really cool. Sid Meier's Pirates is a really fun game. Go look it up. It has some really cool ship combat, and I would actually like to see that because I think ship combat is my least favorite part of Pirate 101 currently, so that would be really cool. And finally, nothing official for guilds yet. Stay tuned. And then 2 codes that you can't see that have already since expired. So this is pretty cool. This is the general KI Live overview. I would say some interesting things to note. Obviously, they are listening to our player feedback. I think that that is one of the most major things to note in this video, is that they are listening to our feedback, and that's very obvious from the changes they made in response to our responses to the spring update. The spring update had quite a few features that we didn't like as players, and KingsIsle genuinely adjusted to them, which is nice to hear. Some other things to point out is that Pirate 101 is probably going to get an update soon, which is really cool, and I am very excited to see that, and they're actually planning on advertising the game. Those are the most important things to note from this, and I think what you should take away from it. So that's it for today. Let me know what you thought about the KI Live in the comments below. I am very interested to hear what you have to say. I do genuinely think hearing KingsIsle's thoughts is always interesting. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Adios.